Alright, this is Fat Bee Man, and I'm back here in my bee lab, and I'm doing a segment on how to make your own queen cell cups. And what we need is, I'm using a cut down milk jug. You don't want to use your wife's stuff, and this pan here come out of a yard sale, so don't get her stuff. Now, if you're going to make small cell bees, I like to use 5/16 dowel rods. I get me a piece of wood and I drill out, make me my own dip. Now, a lot of people are using the 3/8 dowel rods. 3/8, 5/16, it's not going to make that much difference. I have found that using a 5/16 is a little smaller. It makes a better queen for small cell, and I run small cell. What you want to do is put your dipping mold into your water, and let the water soak up your rods good. Make sure they're good and soaked. What you want to do is shake the water off and stick it down. It's going to take, see right now I went purposely too shallow. Now I'm going to go a little bit deeper. What you want to do is visualize a 22 shell or 1/4 of an inch. Now shake your wax off and stick it into your water. That's going to chill it. Shake your water back off. Check the corners of that wax. Right now I've got a little runoff. In order to mount these cells, you want a flat base. So I use a thing. Don't push hard. Push light, just enough. Now I flatten out the tips. Bring it down just to the line. Shake off your extra. Stick it down in your water and chill it. Just bring it down. Just basically the weight of it. And now I made about 3 passes. What you want to do is get up 1/4 of an inch, shake off your extra, make sure you're flat, stick it in the water and let it chill down. Just 1/4 of a turn should take these cups right off. My finger's as slippery as you don't believe. There's your cup. Now, you can buy cups, granted. I'm a firm believer of making all your own stuff yourself. Now, you see here's one right here that has got a little bit of a cone to it. If you have a flat bar you're putting it on, it's not going to sit on there as well. See, it rocks. So that's the purpose of sitting it over here and making it flat. When you first start, you're going to try and error until you get the amount of dipping, how deep you want and how shallow. The wax temperature, that one come off a little better. And then if your fingers grip it, it's basically a trial and error thing. Get it down in the water, stick it down. Now if your wax is way too hot, your dip is going to be very shallow. See how I shook that off? Set it down on the thing. Try to maintain that flat base. You want to maintain a good flat base that holds your cells vertical a lot better. They won't roll off on your cell bar. Now I made about 3 dips there. Let's cool them off a little bit. Once you get the hang of this, to make 1,000 of these little cups, you can make them in about an hour. It's not that hard. The reason, number one, I like to make my own cells is because the cleanliness of the wax. I don't want any queen to grow up or to be raised in some wax that I don't know the history. This is wax that came out of my own hives. People talk about how fast the queens are being superseded. Have you ever thought how they're raised? The main thing is if they're raised in a good environment, they're going to turn up to be a better queen. I have people that have emailed me about buying queens, and they'll say, do I need to replace my queen? It's a year old, 2 years old. I've got queens out here that's 4 and 5 years old. If something is not broke, it don't need fixing. That's my philosophy. Now let's get this off of here. See, there's a nice cup right there. Now, one reason that you want to just dip 1/4 of an inch, here's a standard, this is a commercial Chinese grafting tool, this is one of the students, is when you come in to put that larva in here, if it's too long, the angle to get down in there is steeper. So 1/4 of an inch, you come in on the side, you don't have that you can see better, because if you're going to wear glasses or a magnifying glass, you can see it. That's why we got this here, to line it up to see the graft. But this is one way to graft. Now, I kind of make everything. This is a piece of copper wire. Nothing fancy. You can see it's just been bent like a little spoon, filed up a little bit. 15-degree angle put on there. This is one that I use all the time. You can see where my dirty hands have been on there. And I dip it out like this. Even though these are just $2 or $3, it's just, this is kind of an art form that you're learning. And you can just stick it down in there and just release that larva right in there. Now these would be attached to your frame, or your bars. But in queen rearing, you don't need to go out and spend a lot of money. Basic knowledge will take you a long way. Learn to do a lot yourself. Now, you can probably buy the cups, you can probably buy the mold. There's no need. I mean, most people, they only need 50 or 100 queens, 10, 15 minutes of your time. Sit out here and just take these off. Usually I get my students to do this. I get arthritis so bad it's hard for me to get a hold of stuff. So they come right off. You want a good base, and you want the wall of the cell cup to be thick. You don't want it so thin. See, I'm holding this, and I actually can make it, push it on here, and it would stay if I had the hot wax. The thing is, here's one that wasn't dipped too deep. See how it's shallow? See how thin the wall was on it? That's why it collapsed. That's the purpose of taking it and dipping it several times in there. Usually if your temperature of your wax is just right, in about 4 to 5 dips, you'll get a good cup. There's one that I basically squeezed too hard, but now I just barely touched my fingers to it and I pushed it back out. You can see this one is basically a little too long. See, that one's running about 3/8. This one is basically a little short, but I would rather have this one than I would this one. Or let's get the tall one right here. Now you can see the difference in the height. And the height will determine the angle you come in to release your larva. And it's the little tricks along the line that's going to help you be a better queen producer. Get you a pan of water, soak your thing in there, and have a blast just making queen cells. I mean, you come out here and you can make all you want. And the nice thing about it, you pick them up. If you made a mistake, put them back in the wax, and they're done. Now, if you like them videos, click on that like button down there, or make a donation. Everything that you see I'm doing here is coming out of my own back pocket. I get no government grants, and I'm passing on all the information that I possibly can as fast as I can. Thank you for watching.